So recently I had this job where I managed the content marketing and paid advertising for an umbrella company. This meant I was in charge of things like Facebook articles, blog articles, ebooks, white papers, whatever would bring people from the industry to the brand. That's what I was in charge of. And during my time at this job, I actually ended up outsourcing all the work to the Philippines to where I only had to work about 5 hours a week. So to give you some context, I came on board with this umbrella company knowing that they wanted to scale their marketing and needed somebody who had a combination of skills that could kind of come in and just help them understand how it was even possible and implement it. This company was a collection of 11 different brands across several different industries, mostly B2B, but there was a couple of B2C brands. Throughout my process of kind of figuring out the system of how we could get everything posted, how I could keep up with all the work with the paid advertising and getting things written from freelance writers and actually posting them on the website and optimizing them and then like tracking them for the results that they bring to the business. All of that across 11 companies could not be done with just one person. So I had to go to my boss and basically tell him that, hey, this is not a one person thing, da 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 da. And he basically said, yeah, I see this, like that's what I thought. I know other companies that are at the same scale that have 5-6 person teams. So I know we're probably gonna have to hire somebody. He then basically gave me a budget that I could follow for the salaries of people that I could hire to build a team. So before this had happened, I had always heard about outsourcing. I had heard about a lot in e-commerce world where people hire VAs to do different like office tasks. I'd heard about just all over people outsourcing things. Agencies, they outsource almost everything. I've heard about the 80-20 rule where agencies will basically outsource 80% of the work and then 20% of the work gets done in-house and then that's like the brand. So I had learned, I kind of heard a lot about it and it's all over the place, but never really knew the details, never knew how to actually go about it, what the like legalities were when it came to taxes, how much it was going to cost. So I wanted to, before I went into like using his budget to actually start hiring anybody, I wanted to really learn what are my options. And so I looked into outsourcing and kind of figured it all out. So I want to talk about in the Philippines specifically because that's where I did all my research. There's definitely other countries you can outsource things to, but I've only done this in the Philippines. So I did all my research about different companies that had also outsourced things to the Philippines. I ended up finding this really, really cool resource called OnlineJobs. It's this platform where they help you post jobs and actually hire people in the Philippines. They have all these resources that help you through the whole process. They can even help you with your payments and tracking time and stuff for the workers. So a lot of cool things there, and they made the process really easy. What I ended up actually doing was going on there and realizing that all the people I needed to hire were people that I could hire here for a third of the cost. You see, the way that money converts in the Philippines is the US dollar is worth about triple what it's worth for the Filipino peso. I think that's what it's called. So what this means is that we can pay for things that are the same quality for a third of the cost because the culture in the Philippines is very similar to America, and business is conducted very, very similarly. So the funny thing about that, though, is that they seem to have a better education system than we do in the States for certain things. So there's all these professionals that have the same skills that we would have over here, but they only require a third of the pay because of the way that the money translates. So just like how in America you can hire web developers and SEO specialists and designers and whatever, you can hire those same people, those same professionals in the Philippines with the same, if not more, expertise for a third of the cost. So I kind of jumped all over that, and I knew that, okay, this is what I needed to do with the budget. Here's what I wanted to do. But I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know what the boss was going to think. I didn't know what other people at the company was going to think. I didn't know if this is some like frowned upon thing, So I went to him and basically said, hey, I wanted to get a feel for where did he get his budget number from, So I went to him, I said, hey, about the budget, like how tight are you on that budget? Can the budget move at all? What if I find some really good people that I think could help, but I need to pay them more than the budget you gave me? Because basically he gave me a $130,000 budget spelled out in this way. It was $30K for a web editor, $60K for an SEO expert, and then $40K for a content manager. I'd gone to him with those three people that those are the roles I needed to fill, and then he kind of said, hey, here's what you should pay them, and we kind of looked at like the market like rate for people in the States. So he gave me that budget, and then he said, when I asked him about if we could raise that budget any, he said, if we need to, then yes, I would much rather raise the budget and get somebody good than be stingy about it. So I realized, like, okay, he expects to pay more. Like, just the way that he said it, I could tell, okay, he expects to spend more than $130K a year on this thing. So then I said, okay, but what if I come in under budget? And he basically said, through his like posture, I could tell that he just thought that there's no way I could do this under budget. But he basically said, well, if you can, say you get $4K under budget, well, we can add that to your salary or whatever. If you want some new equipment, we'll buy it. However you want to spend it, it's yours. I said, okay, cool. Then I went on OnlineJobs. I made sure I had the freedom to hire how I wanted to hire. There was no like, oh, we have to hire these people in the States. He just said, hey, get it done. Let me know, here's the money you need. Let me know if you need anything else. So I said, okay. So I went on to OnlineJobs. I posted the job ads that I needed. Ended up getting 700 applications back within like 2 days. And actually, I had to refine the job ads that I posted. I realized that a lot of people, I think, were just flooding their application out there. So I like reposted the same job post, and I added a little like text that said, include these, and then inserted 2 random words, basically getting them to copy it into their application. I said, include these words in your application so I know you read this. And then when I sorted through the applications, I only checked for the ones that had those words inserted. That way I knew it was people that actually like really cared about the job. They took the time to read what I put there. And so I went from 700 to about 300 applications when I did it again. I reached out to maybe like 50 people and then interviewed like maybe 15 or something, and then came up with the people that I could hire and the rates. So I ended up finding 3 people. I found a web editor for $6 an hour. She was in charge of overlooking content that came back from freelancers. She edited the content and made sure it was like up to standard and the right amount of words and everything. And then she posted it to the website and then turned some of that content into social content as well that I would later turn into paid ads. Found an SEO expert for $8 an hour. He did like the full SEO thing on all the websites, did full audit reports, and helped us fix stuff there, and kind of coordinated with other freelance SEO people when we had bigger projects that we stumbled across. But then he kept up with the content being optimized, the new content, and doing keyword research and making sure we were ordering what would actually get views and attract new people. And then I had a content project manager for $10 an hour who overlooked it all, worked with the keyword research to order from freelance writers what we needed, and then make sure it got posted and just kind of like overlook it all. So altogether came in at just $46,000 a year for those 3 people. And at this point, it literally took like an hour a day maybe to keep up with. And I only did it for $46,000 a year, which was way under budget. I think that's like 35% of the budget. So I was at a really, really good point. And this is actually where things went a little bit downhill. I was doing so good that I kind of really did get this like big sense of confidence at the company, where basically like I was doing really, really well. And it was a point where like I didn't have to work. Like what the team was working so well that the results were coming in to where the boss did not care whatsoever that I didn't have to be working that much. But he wanted me doing things for him though. So this led into I should have just taken more money and just managed my team and worked less. But rather than that, I saw the opportunity to pitch a business deal with the owner. And I wanted to like make more than just, I think there was like $90K left over in the budget, or something like that, $80K or something, rather than, making that money easily, and which is exactly what I should have did. I don't know why I didn't, but at the time I thought, well, what if I could make more than that? So I went to the owner and said, hey, rather than the $80K and you figuring out how you're going to give it to me, whether it's buying me stuff or whatever, I know that's kind of tough, you giving me that much money, but what if we put it back into the company and spend it on more marketing spend, and then we split the net profit on the revenue I bring? This led us into a conversation about doing other business deals together, where he started asking me other things that I'd wanted to do in the past but couldn't because I didn't have money to fund it, or things that I tried and failed at or whatever. He stumbled across all these ideas that I kind of have laying around, different things that I've worked on slowly and quietly in the background, and realized that I had a lot of good things going on. I know what I'm doing and could probably grow a new business pretty quickly. So at this point, and this was pretty much all in the course of like 2 or 3 days, randomly in a conversation where we were just talking about ideas and just kind of bouncing things back and forth, he was pushing on me. He basically was like, I want to give you $100,000. Let's go into business. Let's put one of these ideas to work right now. Like, let's do it. Like, really, like, urgently trying to get me to say yes to doing the business deal with him. Like, literally was like, $100,000, I'll put it in. At one point, it was like he almost tried to talk up the number. And I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't saying no, I wasn't saying yes. I just saw him. I don't know. It was almost like we were in a sales appointment, and he was like losing. He was the salesman, and he was like losing the deal. But we weren't making a deal. Like, that wasn't the point of that specific conversation. So I actually took the whole experience as a red flag, just to realize that, I don't know, it's just so weird how he went about it, and the fact that he was like really urgently trying to get me to agree to going into business with him, like actually make a partnership deal. And then he was so willing to just throw a number out there, which was just so weird, and it wasn't backed by any kind of data. It wasn't like I was like, here's the business I want to do, here's the domain we're going to put it on, here's the marketing strategy, here's, it wasn't like that. It was just like very broad ideas, and he was like really trying to push it. So I kind of saw that as a red flag, and then started doing my research on him and asking and getting to know people around him, and basically learned that he had a lot of mental issues, and some of the reasons some of the chaos at the company that had caused a lot of people to quit that I had been watching and kind of hearing about, I realized was because he had created chaos, because in his mind it's like easier to control his business if it's chaotic and no one knows what's going on, because now he does know what's going on. I don't know. It's like something crazy, but just found all these things about him and his business and stuff, and just realized that I didn't want to do business with him or somebody that emotionally runs his business the way that person did. Ended up having to actually move on. When I did this, I realized that I could use this in other areas, other businesses, do this for other people. So I was very excited about it. So when I started it, I kind of set it as like a goal of mine. And when I accomplished this goal, I was so excited, and I wanted to make this video then, but working for that guy, he was really weird about me like talking about the things I was doing there. So I just didn't want it to be weird, but now I'm not affiliated with him anyway, and I don't really care. So I wanted to tell you the cool story. I don't know if you got anything out of it, but if you yourself have tried outsourcing, let me know how it goes or how it went. If you've had bad experiences, let me know. I've talked to a lot of people, and it's usually like hit or miss. People either despise outsourcing or they love it. I think there's something to that, but let me know your experience, and I appreciate you watching.